You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back bay. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Buku signing on, John to the Hancock.
Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Giannouloudis, and if you haven't been keeping up with the recent episodes, you're in for a treat today because we have a special guest on the show, Andrea Urciuoli. Now, a couple weeks ago, we put out a video for you guys about mindfulness, which is what Andrea has been studying, and she's actually taken to the local schools to help kids out to learn about this and help them in their lives, I guess, be more productive in a way, more peaceful in a way. Now, that video is out there for you to look at, but we want to take it even a step further today into mindfulness and help you guys learn about mirroring. Now, mirroring is a topic that I've learned about with helping kids in Brockton through therapeutic mentoring or life coaching sessions, and it's such a big topic. We see it every single day, but we don't actually acknowledge it. So we wanted to help you guys acknowledge it today. That being said, Andrea, give us a definition of mirroring.
Thanks, Billy. That's a great intro. Mirroring. So in the mindfulness piece that I'm working on, of course, mirroring is, think of a mirror, projection. What are we projecting out to the public, to our friends, our kids, our mentors, all of our relationships? Mirroring is what I'm giving to you right now. Yeah. So let's get right into body language. If I'm sitting like this and my legs are closed, my arms are closed, well, maybe there's fear going on in my body or concern or worry. I'm a little bit closed off to you.
Okay.
So I did this little test with the kids that I'm teaching in school, talking about projection and mirroring, but they're young, they really didn't understand it. So we started to talk about body language. And we started to discuss, you know, how do you receive your parent, your mom or your dad? So your mom or dad or your teacher speaking to you. Yeah. Does the child turn around? Do they walk away? And if so, are you, as the adult, are you turning around? Are you walking away? Yeah. And the whole conversation, I did it in a level where young kids can understand it. Things are going great. Yeah. The kids understand it. They understand body language. But something triggered where in my brain I'm like, why are my young children not adapting to this philosophy?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, it can't be them. They're too young. It has to be something that I'm giving off. That's the mirror. So I did a test the past few days, and I remembered when I picked my older child up at school, how am I speaking to him? Yeah. Am I talking really fast? Get in the car. Come on, we gotta go. We gotta get your little brother. And how was your day? Oh, that's great. Sort of dismissive or no eye contact or really stopping and doing my breath work and checking in. I just noticed that we weren't gelling or having a mindful conversation in the car. So I took it to a different level and I said, okay, pick him up, and whether his response is positive or negative, it is what it is. That's mindfulness. That's living in the present moment. Just because I want to hear, I had a great day, Mom. Well, that not every day's great. Yeah, exactly. So I allowed his reaction to be what it was. Yeah. It wasn't great one day. So instead of me, spewing off, well, why wasn't it? And did you not do well in school? What do your grades look like? And all these different scenarios, I can just hear myself. Yeah. That's frustration. Yeah. For a child. Yeah. I'm not stopping. I'm not acknowledging that. Okay, his day wasn't great. Yeah. So I did that one day. I listened. In my body, I probably didn't like what he had to say. He had a tough day, but I didn't react. I chose nothing, no reaction, not even anything verbally. And you know what? The car ride to the next destination was softer. It was mindful because we just glossed over it. It was just, that was what I received. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. So he is giving me what I'm giving him. Yeah. I just acknowledged he didn't have a good day. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. And I love, because you basically said that you didn't have to react to him. You chose not to react to what he was giving off, and that's what the answer was. Just giving him the time right there, and then it kind of brushed over.
Yeah.
To be more peaceful in a way.
Yes.
And now, working with kids in Brockton with therapeutic mentoring, I see that topic so much because a lot of parents that I try to help out, their first reaction to their kid is to react in that negative way.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they wonder why the client, the kid, gives off a negative reaction back to them. And then they call me in to try and help them out with this. And I try and get to the root of the problem. And the kid may be reacting in the exact way that the parent's reacting to them, aka mirroring.
Yes.
They're mirroring that negative behavior back to them. And then it's just a back and forth effect.
Right. It's like tennis.
Until someone stops it, which you did with your son. You were like, hey, I'm cutting this off at the head. And it
Yes.
did. Peaceful after that.
But we tend to, we can understand this philosophy and you could take it to your students, but it's hard to take it to your own
Inward.
family.
Yeah,
It's hard to
okay.
take it to your own flesh and blood.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is going great. Mindfulness is great, and all the students are understanding it. Oh, this is awesome. I feel it's not great if your own family isn't adapting to what you're trying to teach.
Yeah.
So that was a huge learning experience to stop and say, why is it working for all these kids, but not my kids?
Yeah.
So that's when I started to go within and say, you know what? Don't be so. I don't know if the word is passive aggressive or dismissive. Just because I have to be even more mindful of my own with the way I'm looking, the eye contact and the body language, and do I stop and put down what I'm doing and truly check in? And also I wanted to say, not just with our kids, just our friends, our relationships.
Yeah.
If there's something going on that we don't like, before we go and judge that other person, that person didn't call you back.
Yeah.
That person didn't text you back. That person doesn't want to see you for a couple weeks. Before we judge, it could be part of the mirroring.
Yeah.
It's good to check in to see, what are you giving off?
Yeah.
Because we can give off more negative vibes than you think.
Exactly. And I love that, true. It's so true. And with what I've learned about mirroring, now we talked about a lot of behavior. You're talking about behaviors that we do that we're not really seeing us do. It's unconscious. It's on our mind, these unconscious behaviors that may be creating the result we have. Understanding this mirroring topic helps us take a second, be mindful, take a step back, which we talked about in the other video, to take a step back, look at what we're doing and understand it, but take time to think about it. With mirroring, we're taking time to think about these unconscious behaviors that we're doing that may be affecting others around us and affecting us, and becoming conscious of them.
Right.
When we become conscious of them, that's the first step in making a change for it. And when you change it, just like with your son, you get a better result.
Right.
And I love that.
And also, it's not just the body language, Billy, because I think a lot of us already know that, when you sit like this in an interview and your legs are crossed, or even with your kids or your relationships, most people know you're closed off.
Yeah.
But it's also what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So we touched on this earlier today. When you're sitting in an interview or with somebody you like and you look good, you come across kind.
Yeah.
But what you're thinking in your mind is, I don't know if I'm good enough for this job. I'm not sure if this person likes me. If you're constantly in this self-sabotage mode, I'm sure that's a mirror effect.
Yeah.
If you're seeing that this person is moving away or not reacting positively to things that you have to say, check and see, what are you thinking about? Are you internally trashing yourself? Maybe you don't think you're good enough, or you don't think you're going to get the job. That's another thing too. Mindfully check in with your brain.
Yeah. I love that. I love the topic of the job interview too, because that's something we all relate to, having to go to a job interview, and yes, it may be a nervous experience. Now, what I've learned through reading, and I was trained by Tony Robbins in life coaching, and I try to dive into everything that Tony Robbins has created with other therapists and whatnot. And I want to present to you guys, this book is one of his first books he did, Unlimited Power. Now, this book, you can buy it at any bookstore, and if you look at it, I've marked this thing up, I've highlighted this with everything, because truthfully, the information in this book, it's opened my mind up to so much, but he hints at this idea of mirroring in it. And one of the examples he gives is in a job interview. So you can build rapport with someone in a good way or not necessarily a bad way. Now, we've talked about negative unconscious behaviors that we're doing. We all have unconscious behaviors. For instance, if I was in a job interview and Andrea was interviewing me, a leg up on the competition I could have is to watch what Andrea's body language is doing, which you keep talking about, and mirroring that back to her, because she's doing it unconsciously. But since I'm conscious of what her body language is doing, her mind adapts to what I'm doing and gives it back to her as a positive result, meaning she likes me more because she relates more to me. So in a job interview, if I'm sitting just how she's sitting like that, and I have my hands just as she's sitting, we could just be going back and forth, but I know if she moves down, I move down. She switches her legs, I switch my legs. I know that. She doesn't know I'm doing that.
Right.
But she connects to me more, because that's how our minds work. We make that connection unconsciously.
Yes.
But it gives me a leg up.
We click.
Exactly.
They call it the click.
Exactly. And it gives you more, in a way, mindful of that peacefulness, because we had that click. So we now click with each other.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned through this book. But this idea of mirroring, there's good and bad outcomes. But if you can take a second to learn what your behaviors are, your unconscious behaviors are, you become conscious of them. And that's your first step to helping make a change with them. Now, that being said, Andrea, what else can we learn about this mirroring topic to, as best we can, to give them the best we can?
I think it's tough to talk about this level of mirroring to young children.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to just spin it into a positive. We are what we think.
Yeah.
It's an absolute fact with, there's a whole bunch of neuroscientists that I've been reading articles on. You absolutely are what you think. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, not good enough, well, maybe you're not in that topic. You've said it 5 times in your mind.
Yeah.
You've told yourself you're not. Maybe you are, but you're telling yourself you're not.
Yeah.
Relationships. If you're not giving 100% to that person, not in a needy way. I'm talking, if I give you something, a book to read, I don't want anything back.
Yeah.
That is unconditional friendship.
Yeah.
But if I want something back, then I have issues. If
Yeah.
I'm giving to receive,
Yeah.
then there's that inner conflict. That's when we have to check in with the ego, which we were going to talk about next week.
Yes, exactly.
But I believe through my studies that mindfulness is, if you're not getting what you need in life, work, relationships, you have to stop and check in with your foundation, the inner being. And when you realize it, just the first step is the awareness of something is off out there. Okay, you don't have to have all the answers tomorrow, but something is off out there. Just the awareness alone is going to get you to the next step. You'll be on the journey.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the best part right there, guys. So with today's topic, going into our next video that we do, or next week's once a week video, take a second during your days to truly think about, what am I doing? Am I getting the results I want? Am I mirroring something that I shouldn't be mirroring? Am I telling myself something negative, creating that negative result that I'm getting? It only takes a second to think about it, but it could change your entire day, your entire life in a moment. And if that's all it takes, why not go for it? But that being said, guys, we're going to close out this video. Take a second this week to actually think about that, but make sure you stay tuned, because Andrea is going to be back on the show, continuing this incredible topic of mindfulness to help every single one of you out. So stay tuned. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, Billy.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is wearing